Good evening and welcome to Bison Information Network News. I'm Lydia Crackel.
And I'm Hannah Schlosser. The FCS playoffs are underway, and for the second-ranked Bison, the road to Frisco begins with a battle Saturday at the Fargo Dome against 10-2 San Diego. The Bison beat the Toreros 45-7 last year.
Here's a preview of the Bison Information Sports Director Eric Bunnell is live from Herd and Horns.
Hey, thanks, Hannah. We are here at Herd and Horns. 3 losses between the San Diego Toreros and the second-ranked North Dakota State Bison. And San Diego State is fresh off their first-round victory, 41-10 over Northern Arizona. Before we get into the matchup, let's hear from head coach Chris Kleiman.
They're more experienced as far as they have their offensive line back in all those guys that played in the playoff game are playing right now. You combine that with the quarterback that's just such a seasoned guy that doesn't make mistakes and is playing with a lot of confidence.
No stranger to an FCS playoff game here. Former Bison safety Colton Eagle. Colton, you played from 2010 to 2014. What are the playoffs like for these young guys?
Yeah, it's a fun time. It's kind of a different atmosphere. It's kind of a different mentality, a little intensity. It's a fun time, and it's not something that gets taken for granted. Not everybody gets to do that, and the fact that I've been able to do it for a couple of years, and these guys get to do it, this year, is a great accomplishment in itself, and hopefully they can make a run.
Yeah, hopefully. And the Bison defense, they've been stifling opponents all year, only giving up about 10 points a game on average in conference throughout the whole season. What does that defense have to do to continue their hot streak?
Just do what they've been doing all year. For them, it's been playing fast, playing physical, and that's been Bison's defense since I've heard of the 60s. It's playing tough, it's playing fast, mentally smart, and going ahead and making turnovers and making plays.
That offense, they kind of sputtered a little bit in the later half of the season. Stick through 7 interceptions. How well did he bounce back? How well did you see him bounce back in the later part?
Yeah, Easton's a tough kid, and he's mentally tough, and where he learned from Carson, and that's kind of the aspect of the whole team is being mentally tough. Mistakes are going to happen, but it's how you come back from those mistakes and be able to still make plays is what makes you a good football team.
Coach Kleiman said there's 3 dismissals from the team and a suspension given out. How do you guys deal with that distraction, and how did they keep it so mum for a week?
It's something that it happens. It happened in my time. You get some kids that just don't do the right thing and aren't committed to the program. And with the dismissal, I think everybody's still focused on what they need to do with the game plan. And you're just so busy with school, football, meetings, practice that if someone's not committed to the program, it's not a problem to just get rid of them.
Now, San Diego's second year coming into the playoffs, back to the Fargo Dome. How does that first round experience from last year? How does that help them coming into this year?
Yeah, I think that was a young team last year, and a lot of them are coming back. So for them to have that experience being in the Dome for 1, and 2, just another playoff game, another time to know the experience of being in the Dome and to know the team, I think helps the coaching staff as well.
Now, you're a former safety. You had up 64, you had 336 tackles throughout your whole career. And James Hendricks, he's another one of those guys that's safety, cornerback, linebacker, quarterback. Yeah. What has he meant to this team this year?
Yeah, I think his versatility is something, we always pride. Everybody in playing, you saw some linebackers when I was play all 3 different positions at linebacker. I dabbled a little bit of linebacker, and being the switch to 2 different safeties really helps the team be they can switch around different positions and be flexible in terms of injuries happening and really challenge the defense or the offense.
All right, well, thank you, Colton. That's all the time we have. Back to you guys at the studio.
Thanks, Eric. Before their first-round playoff game this Saturday, the football team had some issues to address. Head coach Chris Kleiman announced Monday that 3 Bison football players were dismissed from the team and 1 is suspended for this Saturday's game over violations of team rules.
3 guys from the team last week for violation of team rules, and I'm not going to comment any further, but Darren Kelly, Henry Vandell, and Sean Engel were removed from the football team last Monday, and Dallas Freeman was suspended for this game effective last.
Now, as of right now, there has been no new information that has been released. The Fargo and NDSU Police Department do not have any records of these players being arrested. The much-debated Keystone Pipeline has leaked over 200,000 gallons of oil in northeastern South Dakota about 2 weeks ago. The TransCanada Corporation shut down the pipeline on Thursday, November 16th, after a drop in pressure signaled a breach. Officials announced that the leak did not threaten any drinking water systems and that the TransCanada Corporation would be fully responsible for cleaning up the spill. The pipeline resumed transporting oil on Tuesday.
A record October for the Fargo Animal Shelter with over 100 adoptions this month. Bison information reporter Seth Nordstrom has more on the shelter.
The Fargo Animal Shelter has been in operation for over 50 years, and with this record month, they still have over 100 animals looking for healthy homes.
In general, we had a lot more people coming in the doors, which is great, and we also had a lot more animals coming in, especially dogs and puppies, very highly adoptable dogs and puppies, so those kinds of dogs don't tend to last very long.
The adoption rate being higher than average allows the shelter to keep up with the number of animals in need. With these high adoption rates, the shelter can get crowded, but hopes that many volunteers can help.
Average is right around 150 to 160 volunteers per week. They are coming in 2-hour time shifts, and they either walk our dogs, they spend time with their cats outside of their kennels, or they help us at the front desk.
We have volunteers who come into the shelter. I'm one of them. So I walk dogs and socialize dogs. I socialize cats and kittens, and then I also, like today, I'm helping out in the front office where I answer phones and help with the adoption applications.
Helping animals can prove to be a stressful and emotional process, but the payout is worth it. Local pounds find many stranded and abandoned animals that this Fargo Animal Shelter takes in and cares for.
Part of my job as the shelter manager is actually go into the local pounds every morning before I come to the shelter and see how many abandoned and stray animals are there and see how many we may end up needing to make room for and be able to rehome.
I think adopting pets is such an amazing experience. I have 3 rescues of my own at home, and they are just such wonderful companions.
Many animals that come through a shelter get the negative stereotype of being a bad animal. Many of the animals that come through the shelter are well-behaved pets that had to be given away due to human issues. Reporting for Bison Information News TV, I'm Seth Nordstrom.
The Homeward Animal Shelter receives dozens of pets a month. Doesn't have enough space for those animals. To volunteer or give a pet a new home, either with adoption or their foster home program, stop by 1201 28th Avenue North or go to the website www.homewardonline.org.
Need to know holiday break housing and winter commencement information is coming up
After this week's 7-day forecast. The time of celebration for many graduating NDS students is just around the corner with the 2017 winter commencement fast approaching. Commencement is meant to give graduating students an opportunity to celebrate their achievement with a heavy emphasis on student success, family, and community pride. This ceremony takes place in the Stanford Health Athletic Complex on Friday, December 15th at 2 p.m.
Well, it may not be presidential candidates, but a heated political discussion happened on NDSU soil. NDSU College Republicans, College Democrats, and the Young Americans for Liberty hosted a meeting of the minds this Wednesday. The meeting opened up with introductions of the members of each club. The next portion focused on debate questions that were known to each party before the event. The final part were questions in a town hall style for each of the groups to answer. Hot topics were discussed, including healthcare, the tax code, and others.
The NDSU Women's Hockey Club is halfway through their 2017-2018 season. As 2015 national champions, the team looks forward to a new season and hope to make the national championships again. You can catch the team for their last set of home games on December 14th and 15th at the Coliseum.
Snow isn't falling yet, but finals and the holiday break are just around the corner. Starting Friday, December 15th at 6 p.m., the residence halls will close and access to the buildings will be denied to anyone who doesn't apply for break housing. If you need to request break housing, the form must be completed before December 8th at 9 p.m. The halls will reopen again for the second semester, Sunday, January 8th at noon. If you have any other questions, you can contact your hall director or visit the NDSU website.
A recent Pew Research study states that the majority of Republicans have a negative perception of colleges. They also discovered that since 2010, distrust in colleges has consistently increased. Bison Information Network reporter Daria Zama has more on this story.
The report shows that 58% of Republicans think colleges have a less than positive influence on the country.
It might be that it's the university's role, the perception of university's role has changed, and so that might be driving the story a little bit more than one side likes universities and the other side doesn't.
A 2016 UCLA study on college students' political commitment reveals that almost 34% of freshmen identified as being liberal or far left.
There's definitely, I would think, a fear from these higher ups that they're seeing that people are becoming, they're speaking their voice finally. They're letting themselves out. They're learning.
With President Donald Trump threatening to cut UC Berkeley of its federal taxes, there is a fear that elected officials might increase college taxes.
There's been a lot of issues with protesting getting violent, but along the lines of, wanting to cut funding towards, higher education in specific colleges, you just can't expect him to do that.
And that might be a good excuse. If you have protests, we're going to strike back. But there's lots of reasons to cut back, or at least reasons to give to cut back on university spending. Certainly people can pick up on that and use that as an excuse.
And the hits keep coming as North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum recently set up a task force to examine higher education in the state. He believes work can be done remotely and that colleges do not need a physical location.
Well, those are very vague statements. The governor makes a lot of sort of statements that sound meaningful and impactful and going to change things, but we haven't really seen a plan for what does that actually mean.
However, not all Republicans are against higher education. Those who are younger than 29 years old and those who do not have a degree consider colleges to have a positive impact on students. Daria Zama reporting for Bison Information Network News.
By comparison, the positive view of Democrats has been quite consistent over the last years. 72% of them consider colleges to be beneficial and have a positive effect on students. Today's Health Minute, powerlifting Santa, and Christmas shopping tips.
All that and more when we come back.
Opening gifts on Christmas is a gift all of us enjoy. However, for some families, that is something that is not financially possible. That is where a Student Athlete Advisory Committee, or SAC, comes in. SAC is hosting their third annual toy drive. Their toy drive started last Monday, the 27th, and is continuing this Friday, December 1st. Last year, SAC collected 220 toys and just over $3,100. This year, they are looking to improve that number.
Like every holiday season, every Christmas that you've ever had, like most of us are lucky enough to get toys, but there's a lot of people out there that aren't lucky enough or aren't able to afford to give their kids toys. So this is an opportunity just for those parents to not have to stress over Christmas and be able just to give their children something and make maybe their holidays a little bit brighter.
Donations can be dropped off at the home basketball games and wrestling matches. SAC will accept either money or donations of toys.
The holiday season is always a critical time of year for retail businesses in America, and Bison Information Network reporter Anna Lem went to West Acres to find out how exactly the winter shopping season affects local businesses.
Federation is expecting a strong holiday season for U.S. retailers. The industry forecast would predict a rise of 3.6% of sales for the first time since 2015. Local retailers at the West Acres Mall say the Christmas shopping season is their most important season as a business.
Definitely the biggest time of the year. Between that and back to school, August and December, the biggest months. This is what we get ready for. This is what we schedule for. Make sure we have a good crew.
Brody Jelmstead, manager of Trade Home Shoe Store, says that they are always trying to beat last year's numbers.
We could lose out on a lot of business and maybe even lose out on a little bit of the year. So, because we're always going against last year's numbers.
Economic website Fortune.com explains that the holiday season generates over 30% of sales for retailers.
Holiday season is very important as a business. That's kind of when we make up our shortfalls and get ready, kind of cover the going into the slower part of the new year. So holiday is very important for the retail industry.
Small business owners like Jeannie Murray of Apricot Lane Boutique say they do whatever they can as a business to get people excited about the holiday shopping season.
Oh, we have a lot of different events. We'll do a lot of different promotions, email promotions, to get the kickoff of the holiday going.
Westacre store owners and managers suggest to get your Christmas shopping done early to make sure you don't miss out on all the sales they will be offering. Anna Lem reporting for Bison Information Network.
So, Hannah, do you have all your Christmas shopping done yet?
Well, Black Friday always usually gets me in that gift buying mood, so it's not even the 1st of December, and I pretty much have all of my gifts bought already.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. When we come back, we'll have some Bison sports.
And that and more when we come back after the break.
North Dakota State women's soccer team head coach Mark Cook has resigned from his position. Cook said he's stepping down due to personal reasons. Cook was the head coach for the past 6 seasons, and he posted a 56, 53-4 record and led NDSU to back-to-back Summit League regular season titles in 2015 and 2016. Bison qualified for the Summit League tournament in each of those 6 years when Cook was the head coach. He had coached soccer for the last 22 years. After starting off the season 0-2, the Bison men's basketball team had won 3 straight. They look to make that 4 in a row heading into Tuesday's night matchup against Stephen F. Austin. Paul Miller led the way for the Bison with 15 points, including 3 three-pointers. However, it would not be enough as the Bison committed 28 turnovers and lost to the Lumberjacks 54-50. The Bison are 3-3 on the season and look to get above 500 with a win over Mississippi State tonight. NDSU will be back in action at the Shields Center on December 4th against Missouri State.
After a short break, we will catch up with this week's Bison on the Street.
Stay tuned.
With this semester coming to an end, students can be more excited to spend the holidays with their loved ones.
The herd shared with us their plans for the coming break and what they're looking forward to the most during the holidays.
Holiday, I'm going to be going to Idaho and spending it with my family.
See my family and just kind of visit.
I haven't seen my family for like 7 years, so that'd be the best thing that would ever happen to me right now.
Making a little bit of money back for the semester with a little month break. And my favorite thing I would say would be definitely lefse.
My favorite part of the holidays is just everyone's always in a happier mood.
And see my family and my dogs, and we're gonna get a Christmas tree and decorate.
I actually don't get the holidays off because I'm on the women's basketball team at NDSU, but it's not that bad because we'll be in Miami, Florida for that, so I'll be spending time with my team.
Spend time on the farm, we snowmobile, we like tie tubes to the back of snowmobiles and like whip the kids around until they fall off.
Feel of it all, how everybody's always so cheery, there's always Christmas music playing, everybody's got decorations going.
Well, thank you for watching the final edition of the Bison Information Network News for the year of 2017.
Catch us back here next semester for all your Bison news starting January 11th.
Have a good night.